Right, get ready, because today's news from Paradise is absolutely bouncing. Kuhn under pressure, Yang not trusted, and a surprise name pushed into the spotlight for Killy. Kvistgaarden's transfer value is skyrocketing. Are we about to miss out again? Tactical shakeup coming with Taylor on the move. What does that mean for Tierney and the whole midfield? And a wonder kid carried his passport everywhere, just hoping for a Celtic move. This one's packed from start to finish, proper chaos, drama, and a wee dose of heartbreak. So don't blink, don't scroll. Stick around till the very end. Smash that like button and hit subscribe if you bleed green and white, because this is the place for all things Celtic. Let's get into it. Right, so here's what's brewing ahead of the weekend, and I know you've been feeling it coming. After that absolute sleepwalk of a performance against St. Johnstone, changes are coming to Brendan's starting 11th faster than a Rangers excuse after a derby, and the first name on the chopping block, Nicholas Kuhn. Now, up until December, Kuhn looked like he was about to turn into a proper Celtic regular, gliding down the wing, creating danger, putting defenders on toast. But now, he's looking more lost than a tourist on Sauchiehall Street at 2 a.m. If he starts against Kilmarnock, it'll be more out of stubbornness than merit. So the obvious question is, who takes his spot? You'd think Yang, right? The lad's been the go-to backup option. But here's the twist. Peter Grant's thrown out a curveball that actually makes some sense. He reckons Luke McCowan should start out wide. Now I know what you're thinking. McCowan's a central midfielder, right? But the man's got legs, he's got drive, he's got that killer left foot, and most importantly, he wants it. He doesn't just jog around and go through the motions. He gets in the box, he takes shots, and he plays like the badge means something. And look, even though he's not a natural winger, the lad's been grafting every minute he's had this season. 5 goals, 5 assists, and no fuss. Not glamorous, but effective. And that's exactly what we've been missing. Plus, as Grant said, throwing McCowan out wide might just mess with Killy's setup. They'll expect a winger to hug the line, not a midfielder who drifts inside and asks different questions. And we need to start asking different questions, mate, because the same old approach hasn't been cutting it lately. So here's one for you, and this might stir the pot a bit. Is it time to ditch the flashy names and start the lads who actually bleed for the shirt? Should McCowan get the nod ahead of Yang? Or are we just clutching at tactics now? Let me know what you think, because this decision says a lot about what kind of Celtic side we want to be next season. Right, mate. Now this is one transfer saga that's starting to feel like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Long, dramatic, and we still haven't seen the happy ending. Matthias Kvistgaarden. Aye, that Danish goal machine we've been sniffing around for what feels like 2 years now. Brendan Rodgers wanted him last season. He wanted him again in January. And both times, Brøndby basically told us to get Tay and bring a much bigger wallet. Now though, this might actually be the summer. The lad's absolutely flying. 17 goals, 5 assists, and only 22 years old. And more importantly, he's got the kind of energy Brendan loves. He's a proper modern forward, can play central, drift wide, runs like his boots are on fire, and presses like he's been personally insulted by the opposing keeper. But here's the thing, his stock's exploded. You're no longer just competing with the likes of Hibs or Aberdeen for this one. We're talking Sporting Lisbon, Eintracht Frankfurt, and a whole queue of continental sides with deeper pockets than an old firm conspiracy theory. Brøndby want top dollar, around £13.5 million, which is steep for Celtic standards, let's be honest. But if we're serious about Champions League football, if we actually want to do more than just show up for the anthem and go home with 3 losses and a what if, we need a proper signing up top. Dyson Mate has been phenomenal, don't get me wrong. 30 goals, player of the year incoming, and heart like a lion. But one man doesn't make a European run. You need options. You need depth. You need Kvistgaarden. Thomas Gravesen even said he was shocked we didn't land him in January. Said Celtic would be the perfect place for the lad to kick off his career abroad. And honestly, he's not wrong. This is a team that would play to his strengths, a support that would back him, and a stage that would show the rest of Europe what he's really made of. But now, with all these clubs sniffing around, this might be it. So let me ask you, and I know this'll divide opinion. Should Celtic break the bank for Kvistgaarden, or is 13.5 million too much to gamble on a player who's never kicked a ball outside Denmark? Go on, be honest. Is he worth the risk, or is this another project that could turn into a project gone wrong? Right then, pull up a chair. We're talking tactics, and this one's got more moving parts than a pub pool table on a Saturday night. So Greg Taylor, we've given him stick in recent weeks, but truth is, he fits the system Celtic have been using all season. He's that inverted full-back type, tucks inside, links the play, keeps things ticking. Maybe not glamorous, but he does the dirty work with a bit of brains behind it. Now lately, Jeffrey Schlupp's been getting the nod, especially in the big nights. And fair enough, he's more physical, bit more solid defensively. You need that in the Champions League. If we're going back to somewhere like Munich, you want a lad like Schlupp holding that line, not someone who's drifting about looking for a pass while the Bavarians are running at you like a stampede. But here's the real twist in the tale. Kieran Tierney is coming home. And mate, let me tell you now, this is where everything's gonna change. KT's not an inverted fullback. He's a proper, old-school overlap till your hamstrings scream kinda left back. Bombs forward, whips crosses in, gets stuck in. And when he's on the pitch alongside Alistair Johnston, who's the same mold on the other side, you're looking at a totally different shape. Rodgers will have to tweak things. No more tucking inside and playing like we're City Light. We'll be stretching the pitch, full width, full pace. That'll mean more space for wingers, a bit less reliance on midfielders carrying the ball, and possibly a rethink on how we defend in transition. But, and this is the key part, we're not there. Yet. Greg's still here. And for Saturday against Kilmarnock, with the current shape, it still makes sense to play him. This isn't Bayern, it's not Madrid, it's Killy at Parkhead. Possession will be ours, and we need the control Greg offers, but make no mistake, once KT walks through that door, the game changes. And you can bet Rodgers is already planning the blueprint. So here's one for you to chew on. When Tierney returns, should Rodgers rip up the current system to suit him, or stick with the structure that's been built all season? Because for me, you don't sign a player like Tierney just to force him into someone else's system. You build around him. But I want to know what you think. Right. You're gonna love this one. Proper transfer window drama with a twist you weren't expecting. So remember that Norwegian wonder kid we were linked with in January? Martin Orjasater from Sarpsborg. The lad with bags of talent and a rumored 7 million quid price tag slapped on him like he was a Premier League veteran. The Celtic interest was real, but then it fizzled. And now we know why. Turns out, he bottled it, straight up. Not in a bad way, not throwing shade. But the lad himself has come out and admitted he wasn't ready. Couldn't sleep. Passport in the pocket every day just in case the phone rang. Man was basically living in airport mode. He said it was relief when the window slammed shut. Relief. Most players dream of a move to a club like Celtic. Parkhead, European nights, chance to lift silverware. But this boy, he was glad. It didn't happen. Says he needs more time to mature, to enjoy life, to hang with pals and maybe hit the ski slopes at Easter. And here's the kicker. He's not even that into football. He straight up says he's not much of a fan, but he likes doing it as a job. Mate, I nearly dropped my iron brew when I read that. Imagine playing for the badge and not even loving the game. I mean, come on. Now look, fair play for being honest. You don't hear this kind of thing every day, and in a world full of overhyped egos and agents with dollar signs in their eyes, a bit of humility is rare. But still, if you're not ready at 21, carrying your passport but hoping no one asks to see it, maybe you're not cut out for the pressure that comes with the hoops. So, let me ask you, and be honest, would you still take a chance on a player who admits he's not fully committed? Or should Celtic only go after lads who live for football and bleed green and white? Because for me, talent's great, but in this club, mentality is everything.